Meet the tiny farmers, the bumblebees. The story of bumblebee colony is a fascinating one, and it all starts with a single powerful individual, the queen. After spending the entire winter hibernating alone underground, she emerges in a spring with huge mission. Her first job is to find the perfect spot for a nest. This could be an old rodent burrow, a thick patch of grass, or a cozy cavity in a tree. Once she settles in, she starts her family laying the first batch of eggs. In these early days, she has a one woman show, gathering all the nectars and pollen herself to feed her first brood. Once these first eggs hatch, and the workers bees mature, the dynamics of the colony completely changes. The workers, all of whom are females, take over the daily tasks. They become the foragers, flying out to collect food and to guard and protecting the nest from any threat. This frees up the queen to focus on her most important job, laying more eggs and growing the colony. As summer progresses, the colony reaches its peak. Then a new generation of queen and male is produced. After they mate, the old colony, including the original queen and all the workers, naturally comes to an end. Only the newly fertilized queen will survive the coming winter, ready to start their own colonies the following spring, continuing this beautiful cycle of. Now let's talk about what make bumblebees true superstars, their incredible skill as pollinators. Pollination, as you might know, is simple act of moving pollens from one flower to another, which allows plants to create fruits and seeds. Bumblebees are built for this job. Their fuzzy bodies are like pollen magnets, collecting huge amount of it as they forage. But their real secret weapon is technique called buzz pollination. This is where it gets really cool. A bumblebee will grab into a flower and vibrate its powerful flight muscles at an incredibly high frequency. This intensive vibration shakes the flower, releasing pollens that are tightly packed away and inaccessible to many other insects. Think about some of your favorite foods: juicy tomatoes, sweet blueberries, bell peppers, cranberries, even eggplants. All of these plants rely heavily on buzz pollination to produce fruits. Without bumblebees, we had have a much harder time growing them. This unique ability makes them not just effective but essential pollinators for many of the crops that end up on our dinner table. Their work is not just a neat trick of nature, it's a fundamental process that supports agriculture and food security all over the world. Now let's talk about. Farmers absolutely love bumblebees, and for good reasons. They are dependable all weather workers of the insect world. While honeybee might take the day off if it is too cold, cloudy, or a little rainy, bumblebees are out there getting the job done. They are active early in the morning and can handle much cooler temperatures. This reliability makes them particularly valuable in greenhouse settings, especially for pollinating tomatoes. Greenhouse growers often introduce bumblebees colonies directly into their facilities because they are so efficient. The result speaks for themselves. Their pollination leads to better quality crops, higher yields, and more stable food supply. When you look at the bigger picture, pollinators contribute billions of dollars to the global agriculture economy every year, and bumblebees are a massive part of that success story. Beyond their work ethic, bumblebees have some truly amazing biological features. One of the most remarkable is their ability to generate their own heat. Before taking off on a chilly morning, a bumblebee will vibrate its muscle without moving its wings, essentially shivering to warm up its body to flight temperature. This internal furnace allows them to thrive in mountain regions and colder climate where most other insects simply cannot function. They also have incredible vision. They can see ultraviolet light, which is invisible to us. Many flowers have hidden UV pattern on their petals that act like landing strips, guiding the bees directly to the nectars. And it is not just instinct. These insects are surprisingly smart. Studies have shown that bumblebees can learn and remember the shape, color, and locations of the best flowers, making them incredibly efficient and intelligent foragers. The importance of bumblebee extends far beyond our farmer and gardeners. They are critical for maintaining the biodiversity in natural ecosystem. Many wild plants have evolved to rely specifically on bumblebees for pollination. If bumblebee population decline, these plants cannot reproduce effectively. This creates a dominant effect impacting birds, mammals, and other insects that depend on those plants for food and shelter.
Scientists often look at bee populations as indicators of environmental health. A decline in bees is often a red flag, signaling deeper problems within an ecosystem, like pollution or habitat loss. Unfortunately, these vital insects are facing some very serious threats. One of the biggest is habitat destruction. As our cities expand and we convert more land to intensive agriculture, the natural meadows and wildflowers that bees rely on for food are disappearing. Modern farming practices, especially monocultures where only one crop is grown over a vast area, create what are essentially food deserts for After that single crop has finished flowering, there's nothing left for them to eat. Then there are pesticides. A group of insecticides called neonicotinoids is particularly harmful. These chemicals can damage a bee's nervous system, interfering with its ability to navigate back to the nest. They can also weaken their immune systems, making them more susceptible to diseases. And in high enough doses, they can wipe out entire colonies. Climate change is another growing threat. Shifting weather patterns are disrupting the timing of when flowers bloom, which can create a mismatch with when bees emerge from hibernation. For species adapted to cold climates, rising temperatures are shrinking their habitable range, pushing them to the brink. As if that weren't enough, diseases and parasites are also taking a heavy toll. The commercial transport of bee colonies for agriculture can unfortunately help spread infections from one region to another very quickly. Even air pollution can be a problem, as it can interfere with the floral scents that bees use to find their food sources. Scientists are sending a clear warning. If we don't address these threats, the continued decline of pollinators could have severe consequences for global food security and the stability of our planet's.
Despite their large size, loud buzz, bumblebees are generally very peaceful insects. They really only sting if they feel their life or their nest is in direct danger. Unlike some other bee species, they are not aggressive and would not attack in swarms. Their calm temperament is another reason why they are so valued in agriculture and greenhouses. Of course, if you have a known allergy or to bees sting, you should always be cautious, but for the most part, you can admire these gentle giants without any fear. It's also common for people to mix up bumblebees and honeybees, but they are quite different. Honeybees live in massive, highly organized colonies that have tens of thousands of individuals, and they are famous for producing large amount of honey. Bumblebees, on the other hand, live in much smaller colonies, usually with just a few hundred bees at most. They only make a small amount of honey, just enough to feed themselves. But when it comes to the pollinating certain crops, especially in cooler weather or greenhouse, the bumblebee is the undisputed champions thanks to its buzz pollination power. So, hearing all of this, you might be feeling a little concerned, but the good news is that there are simple, effective action we can all take to help protect these incredible insects. One of the best things you can do is plant native flowers in your gardens, on your balcony, and in any green space you have. Providing a diverse range of flowers that bloom throughout the season give them a reliable food source. Another crucial step is to reduce or eliminate the use of pesticide in your garden. Opt for natural pest control methods instead. This helps not just bees but all beneficial insects in your local ecosystem. Supporting the preservation of natural habitat is also key. Protecting our forest, grassland, and wild meadows ensure that bees have the space and resources they need to nest and forage. Finally, public awareness and educations are incredibly important. More people understand just how valuable pollinators are, the more likely we are to make choices that support their survival. Conservation always begins with understanding. Bumblebees may seem small and ordinary, but they are truly some of the nature's greatest and most hardworking creatures. For more videos related to animals and animal facts, do not forget to like and subscribe our channel Zeus.